Hello and welcome to the ChapterSkip podcast, volume 11. I'm Mark.
And I'm Joe.
And I'm Sean.
And today we're chudless.
Oh,
Yep.
I thought you were going to say something else. They were chatting about movies, but no, we're chudless.
We've got no chud today.
No chud.
Unfortunately, so that means we get to talk about him in the manner that we talked about you, Mark, when you were missing on ChapterSkip volume 9.
He's busy celebrating his win of the Eurovision Song Contest.
I heard he was pussy whipped.
There's lots of room, Chud. Cheers. Lots of room today.
It's amazing how much space he takes up on the sofa for such a small guy.
Yeah, I know, right? Thanks for tuning in to volume 11 of the ChapterSkip podcast. We're here today to talk movies and other such nonsense. And last week we each entailed each other with some homework. And most of it were sort of movies we'd never heard of before, / movies that are probably not going to be very favourable. Mark, you were entrusted to watch the movie Zombie Hunter featuring Danny Trejo.
Yeah, for all of 8 minutes.
You watched 8 minutes of the movie?
No,
or
he was in it for about 8 minutes.
Oh, right.
As Chud had said, yeah.
And Joe, you hooked up with Chud during the week and you both watched Skinned Deep.
Yeah, we totally did.
And I was tasked with watching Big Man Japan. So I guess what better way to kick off the podcast with a couple of reviews for some movies that I'm guessing we aren't going to have favourable reviews of. Who wants to go first?
Go on then, I'll do mine. Zombie Hunter. It's advertised as it's a Danny Trejo film. The whole cover is pretty much him. And yeah, he's in it for 8 minutes.
You'd be hyped, wouldn't you? Because it's like
yeah, you would. You're like, oh, Danny Trejo fighting zombies. This is going to be badass.
But the thing is, right, Anthony Hopkins won an Oscar for Silence of the Lambs. He was only in that for 12 minutes.
Is that what he's in it?
Yeah.
Wow.
This goes to show, doesn't it?
But I think
It's how you do it.
With Danny Trejo in the first 8 minutes.
Was he on the credits?
It wasn't even being that interesting. It's like, we know Danny Trejo can act a certain way, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
He didn't have. There was no energy to him. He's just like, I'm sitting here saying some lines. I got the impression they were just randomly. We're going to put a camera in front of you, say these words, bang, right, we're done. And then it's like an intermission, sort of, not an intermission.
During the DVD.
Look, cinema.
And then there was a random moment where they've obviously decided, shit, we've got Danny Trejo. We better have him a fight with some zombies. And it was like 30 seconds of that montage.
Is it good quality or is it very low?
The film was crap, basically. Chud mentioned about it having a monologue the other week, and he thought that was cool, and I didn't. The monologue didn't
You hate
match.
monologues, don't you?
I
Harking
don't
back
mind.
to Fight Club.
Yeah, but then with, like you mentioned, like Sin City, didn't mind that, which Chud mentioned that. But this one, it didn't match what's happening on screen. He's going like, there's a terrible shot where it's got the main guy, I think he's just called Hunter. He's got no name. Sorry, Hunter plays that Hunter farmers.
That's probably his last name.
Yeah, Jim Hunter.
Danny Hunter.
But he's having a fight with zombies, but you don't see it. He's just the camera's pointed at a couple of spent bullet casings or something on the floor, and he's in a different room fighting zombies, so you hear it. And then he comes out, and the monologue is something like, "Nothing puts a smile on my face like a midday massacre." And you're thinking, well, why aren't you fucking smiling then?
It
doesn't tie in.
So for one, you haven't seen the massacre.
Yeah.
You don't probably know if it's midday or not, and he's not smiling.
He's not smiling. Danny Trejo's turned into Yoda because he's going, "Consumed by hate, that one is." What? Fuck.
That's amazing.
And the worst thing is, this guy who is a professional... Oh God, they don't even call them zombies, they're eaters, which could just be fat people. But he's a professional eater killer. Oh, God. They're in an open area, like desert-y scrubland thing. You can see for miles, zombies still get the jump on them out of nowhere. It happens again in an airfield on the fucking runway. They weren't there a minute ago.
They're really fast eaters.
What else was there? There was the world's worst sex scene. There was a close-up of the guy's work boots bumping against the mattress. And then when it did show him above the woman, she said it was her first time. I'm guessing it was his, because the way he was going up and down on it, it was like he was doing this shoulder shimmy. And it was like, what the fuck is that? That's not even anything. It was just so weird.
Kind of reminds me of the first season of In Betweeners.
I was just about to say that.
When Will gets on that bird and he's sort of like wriggling around on top of her, and she's like,
know what he's doing.
This is not working.
No.
Even that would have been more realistic, I think, because this was just bizarre. It's like, no one has sex like that.
He's a little inner monologue just saying, yeah, I'm great at sex, where he's actually just awful.
One of the female character in it had one of the female characters, not the one that Chud mentioned, who brushed her hair out of her head when she got chainsawed, which I did look for. That was brilliant.
Was it?
But one of them had I'll ruin the ending here because fuck it.
Fuck it, it's a cheap film. They're probably never going to watch it, people.
This is after the guy's been skewered by a really crap CGI beastie. It's got massive claws, it's rammed him right through his chest, through his back. Then he's pulled a grenade and dropped it and blown himself up. And as they leave, the girl's inner monologue is, "That was the last time I saw him alive."
No shit.
That's exactly what I said. I'm like, no shit. And then it cut to the fucking guy still alive. And he's going,
What?
"Well, if you want a job doing right, you got to do it yourself." And then he slits his own throat. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
Jesus Christ. At least he could have died like a martyr, like saving the world from this big beastie by blowing himself up and the beastie, not just going, "Survive that, now I'm dead." Let's just negate the whole thing there.
It was crap.
So Danny Trejo was just like, "Oh, I'm getting a bit of money, I suppose.
Yeah, I can't blame him for
Suppose I'll just do it.
being
It's
in
not
it,
far from a
because-
hair, probably.
They're paying me in
Yeah,
peanuts.
yeah. I'll get some nice food. So, yeah.
my money for the old El Paso adverts ain't come in yet. So
That's it.
I'll do this.
Now, does Danny Trejo get his head cut off?
You get sliced by a spoiler. Yeah, it gets sliced off by a beast.
Now, here's a fun, interesting fact. I watched an interview with the director and writer of Breaking Bad, and obviously there was a Danny Trejo head.
Yeah, on the talk.
Yeah, and he actually said there was a B movie that asked to borrow that head because they were going to have Danny Trejo have his head cut off.
I don't think you actually saw it.
Oh, okay. Well,
was-
it
it's
might
on
be
the back
another.
of him.
It might be another movie that actually approached Terry Gilliam. Terry Gilliam?
Yeah, not Gilliam.
Gilliam. Yeah, that's the Monty
Monty
Python guy. Vince Gilligan. Yeah. About using the head, and the guy was like, "Well, it's not really worth anything." But obviously, it's a cool prop from Breaking Bad. It was a really cool moment, obviously, when Danny Trejo's head's on the tortoise, sort of going across across the thing. And
Tortuga, wasn't it?
yeah, Tortuga. And he said that the guys could use it. He wasn't going to charge him for it, but if they broke it or damaged it anyway, like he had it like insured for like $1 million or something like that. Yeah, so
That's probably why they didn't do that then.
there was borrowed it and just didn't use it.
There was an issue on Game of Thrones involving a severed head prop that they actually got in trouble for, and even though no one knew about it until they mentioned it on the audio commentary of the DVD, where they've got some heads on a spike outside a castle, and they're like, "Oh, actually, one of those heads, they had a prop head of George Bush."
Oh,
so he muddied it up, put a wig on it, stuck it on there, and of course some people were like, "This president, the greatest goddamn president ever, you can't..." So they've had to cut that bit out of the film,
God,
out of the
brilliant
series.
to see that.
Just that shot of a head on a spike, because people are going, "You can't do that to the president,
You can't do
ex-president."
Fucking
So yeah, the film was shit.
Yeah.
Basically, there was a poster on it in the one of the rooms for a film called Orcs, which I've never seen. I've heard it was a bit like Dog Soldiers, but orcs instead of werewolves.
Okay.
And the poster next to it for Oh Zombie, which was an
yeah.
Osama bin Laden zombie film.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Potential to be awesome. That film was dog shit. Another
Was
one,
it?
the Osama zombies in it for like 2 minutes.
I heard about that
Hated
movie,
it.
but nobody ever said it was any good. So I thought it had like potential to be really good, tongue-in-cheek, kind of fun.
Potential, and it was like, this is crap.
I looked
Dog
at
shit.
looked at a film online. What someone put up on this horror page. What I've added on Facebook, and it's called Butt Crack. And when people look at this guy's butt crack, they turn into zombies. What the fuck is that? It's a real film. It's a real film.
It sounds fun.
I want to watch it. Is it
I
out yet?
don't know. It was just on that We Love Horror Films or something.
The same site.
And I was like, I was just like, what?
The same page on it.
check that out. We Love Horror Films on Facebook.
Yeah, if
It's
you're a horror
really
fan,
cool.
then.
Yeah, if
Sounds
you're
like a
horror
load of arse to me.
Oh,
But
cracking them jokes.
So if we're sticking with probably bad films, Joe, do you want to go with what you and Chud thought of
I thought it was amazing. No, your turn, Sean.
No, honestly.
Fucking,
Facts,
oh my
amazing.
god, it was fucking terrible. Me and Chud were watching it, it was like, whatever is this? The sound, for starters, Mark, is terrible. There's one scene what me and Chud picked up, right? They get out of the car, and they slam the door, and they forgot to put sound over it, so it just... it's just here. It's just...
What? It's the future. It's one of them silent doors.
And it's just like, what the hell? And Warwick, he looks quite young, so... And it says, like, it was made in 2004 or something. We're checking it up on IMDb. That's bullshit, because they're on a fucking SNES computer, for starters. The kid, he's got a bowl cut. He's got a bowl cut.
They are hillbillies that don't...
But seriously, the fashion, that was made in the early 90s. That must have been made in the early 90s. Because Warwick...
They just revamped it and took sounds out.
Yeah, and Warwick...
Well, Warwick's only like 20 miles from where we live, 30 tops. We can go and find him.
Yeah, plates. He
Plates.
fucking throws plates, for God's sake. He has a little backpack on. He looked like a Ghostbuster, I thought. He really did.
Oh shit, I nearly got me coffee. I forgot he's in that little white costume.
Yeah, and I thought he was a Ghostbuster.
Clearly it's a little
and he
white
keeps
costume, but-
getting plates there, and I'm like, if he fucking, because he had none in the back, you could clearly see when he was like running, he got none in the back, and I thought, right, this is going to be fucking, I'm going to hate this even more if he pulls one out in a minute because he got cornered, but he doesn't. But what does he do instead? He fucking has him buried in the ground. He pulls one out the ground, and then he walks a bit further, and he pulls another one out the ground and throws it. I'm like, what? He's like, you never know when you need plates.
He's going to say he's going to pull out a frying pan or something.
No.
Like, not just plates.
So as I was
for a
debating
bowl.
whether I should keep it or bin it,
I say,
I was like, shall I keep it
I've got
'cause
an
it's so
idea.
bad
We
it
did
was worth
talk about
keeping?
this last year. It's an idea, and if you want to do it, we can give it away to someone if they want to win it. That was an idea.
you just
but
want
that's
this is
not- it's
shit.
your-
Would you like to win?
Yeah, no, it's shit. But if someone wants to win it, they're entitled. Up to you,
I'm
obviously.
happy to do that. Maybe if we do it for next week, we'll think of a question or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, anyway, we'll go back to the film. We'll sort that out and talk about it next week. I want to talk about.
I did
how
find a bit
terrible
of
this
trivia
film
about
was.
the film. No, did you read that one?
I did. Go on though.
About the naked scene. You know where Brain is running naked through the streets?
That's it. They got no.
They had no permits.
That's it,
The
and he
bloke
actually did it.
Got arrested.
Yeah. That thing with the brain, it looks like a giant nut on his head. It's like a fucking, I thought, oh, it must be his nut. Oh no, it's a brain. But you can clearly see where the money's gone on them props, because I will say something, I thought he had a really cool mask, the bear trap guy.
Yeah.
That was really good, I thought that was fucking cool.
And I couldn't
His
tell
look-
how they done the trick with the muscly guy with no head. He was down in the credits as being a pinhead, so I guess he's got a. It was like a big muscle guy, and he just had like.
Oh
a
yeah,
and
and he just keeps showing his muscles.
He's like their creator. or
Yeah,
something.
the creator. That's what he's called, the creator.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
He was called like Jimmy Pinhead, something or whatever it is.
It's terrible.
Look like, where's his fucking head?
And that fucking weird, stupid family. Oh, they've invited us for tea. Oh, let's sit down. And they're all like fucked up. And you got the guy sitting there, and he's got like a fake, I don't know if it's skin on his face. You can clearly see he's a mental case. There's crap all over the house. You wouldn't just sit there and they're like, oh, what's for tea? Let's eat some food. And they're sitting there eating it. And the crazy mum, she's like, keeps like takes photos of people, and she's just, it's just weird and just like what?
Well, like the nanny, the granny, because all the dialogue, like you said, is done afterwards. She don't look like she's opening her mouth. She's talking with her teeth shut. She's like,
and she's like, she talks really.
I mean, the bloke's there with that face he's wearing. She's going, this is the surgeon. Surgeon General.
That's it.
No,
And but it's really but that makes it more
face.
creepy because it's just that sort of thing. And then when she's in that, when they trap her in that room, what you can clearly get out of what is made out of paper mache. And when he shuts the door, and when he shuts it, it wobbles. You can see it fucking wobbles. Cardboard. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Sean will like this bit. Did you like when she kills Brain and he's got them wooden blocks that kids have with letters on it in his head?
That's it.
They fall out and it had the word love, and she stamped on it, and when she removes her foot, it's got the word hate on it instead.
But it's all like animation sort of how it goes. It's crap,
Yeah,
isn't it? Crap,
shitty stop
special
motion.
effect.
That's why I was kind of like, is it so shit? I really should keep it. Because I was kind of like, there was something so bizarrely amazing about Warwick Davis.
No, I just thought it was fucking terrible. Warwick, he had a bit of flair on his face. That was his makeup, wasn't it? He had flowers for makeup. He did for makeup, and he's just. It's just so random and weird, but yeah, no, I actually loved it, so I'll give it a good rating. No, it's terrible. I really didn't.
That's a bit.
Yeah, I love. You know, I like a lot of crap, like sort of cheesy, cheap films, but there's some amazing ones out there, and that was just me and Chad were just like laughing at it, like what the hell is going on there, and it just kept going on, and I thought it's the end.
Well, how about if someone wants to
fucking
send
hate that.
us a shit film to review, and we'll send them Skin Deep in return?
Yeah.
How's that?
Do a swap.
Yeah, that's
we'll do a
that's an
DVD
idea
swap.
if anybody's up for that.
So if you want a copy
yeah.
of Skin Deep and you've got a film that you think is
Equally
shit, we'll give it a go, and we will send you a copy of Skin Deep in return. So just
we'll sort this out. Yeah.
inbox us on
here,
or?
just check out the ChapterSkip podcast channel and just send us a message, or on Google Plus, or you can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/ChapterSkip, and we're on Twitter @ChapterSkip. Any of those, just tweet us, Facebook us, message us on YouTube. We don't mind, and we'll do a little swapsy and see if we can.
That's a good idea. I like
That's
that.
hardly anyone listens to our podcast.
Yeah,
we'll be trying to sell this for the next few years.
Yeah.
Hopefully there is.
If anyone wants this.
I just want to say, if you do want to swap a copy of Skinned Deep for Big Man Japan, I'm going to say no, because that was my homework for this week, and my review is, I don't really want to watch that movie ever again.
What?
I didn't
I've
like
not
it.
seen this, so I can't
I thought you saw
say
it.
some. No, I haven't. No, Chud has.
Yeah.
It started off, I thought I'm going to really like this, because you guys sold it to me. I thought it's got a great concept, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. Yeah, it's very cheap as well. And I thought the documentary style would make it even more interesting, you know, kind of add that element that you don't often see in sort of superhero movies or something like that. And it started off really, really funny. I thought, yeah, this is going to be great. Started off really normal, you know, and he's sitting getting interviewed by the guy, and he's just sitting there in his house, and, you know, everybody hates him because they've graffitied on his walls.
A brick comes through his window.
Brick comes through his window, and he just no-sells it. He's just like, oh, okay. You know,
so it's normal every day.
And then it happens again, and I thought that was so funny. I thought, if this movie continues on in the same vein and has that kind of subtle humour, doesn't oversell it and doesn't go too wacky, it could be awesome. And then he gets the call when he's in the park, and he's like, oh, all right, I gotta go power up because there's a big beastie coming in. And then it cuts away and shows you like a few details of the beastie.
Yeah, oh,
and then it cuts back to the beastie, and I'm like, what the bloody hell is this?
There's a monster with a comb over.
What? Really? What's like an emo?
It's basically like this pale white man. It's got like the face of a human, but he's got like these weird like stretchy arms that link together. And what he does, he like throws them over buildings and grabs them and like basically throws them behind him.
Okay.
And he has a comb over, but obviously because his arms are linked, he can't like put his hair back. So he always like flicks his hair back. And it's so bizarre. And I was like, okay, this could be cheesily interesting. And then I thought, yeah, it's going to be a big badass fight here, and sort of nothing really happens because like Big Man Japan sort of grows up, and I was like, he looks kind of weird. He's got like this really strange haircut where it's all sort of stands on end.
Like a troll, them little.
Yeah, it looks exactly like a troll.
Yeah.
But massive, and he's got these tattoos. I was like, yeah, it's going to be quite good. I'm not going to pick on the crappy CGI just yet. And yeah, and that happened, and then he sort of accidentally kills the beast, and then nothing really happens with that. They don't really mention it. People are a bit like, oh, it's a shit fight, because obviously they televise the fights.
Yeah, because his tattoos is product placement.
Yeah, like sponsors and stuff like that. Yeah. Which I thought, yeah, a good idea as well. And the fact that obviously when he grows into Big Man Japan, he has a fight. They air it on television. They talk about ratings. I thought that's a good idea. And obviously he's shown at like 3 a.m. in the morning because nobody cares about him. Whereas back in like, I guess the 80s or 90s, his grandfather, you know, used to have big old battles, and they used to get like proper good ratings on TV and have good airtime and stuff like that. And obviously it's come down. The bit
though with the grandfather was now like Alzheimer's and growing big and just playing with aeroplanes in the airfield and blowing across the top of a chimney stack to get that little kind of noise.
Yeah, like I said, it had some really good ideas, but then it just kind of never took it anywhere. Nothing really developed. It kind of just felt a bit sort of stupid after a while. Like, you get half an hour, 45 minutes in, you're like, yeah, this is quite cool, and then doesn't take it anywhere else.
It gets stuck somewhere.
Yeah, it gets stuck. If they sort of, I don't know, made it into a series or something like that, and maybe picked one beast.
You could have done more with it.
They could have taken it somewhere completely different, made it a bit more interesting, more exciting, but they kind of just lost their way.
Did you think of the ending then? Because for me, that was one of the funniest things ever.
Well, the thing is, it's always hard to judge what's going to be good to other people. Like, I'm guessing you and Chud watched it together back in the day, and you didn't know what was going to happen, and it just happened.
I'd seen it before then. It was one that I'd taken into work and was like, I think the guys might like this.
Had Chud seen it before?
No.
So I can imagine his reaction was a bit like, oh, okay, that's really funny, kind of out of the blue. But I was expecting it, obviously, because you guys hyped it up, and I was thinking, oh, what can happen? And then it actually happened, and I was just a bit like, I've got no investment in the movie to kind of think this is fun or anything. And then that whole section at the end just went on for way too long, and I just thought, this has gone beyond the realms of stupid good, like you were saying, Joe. You like movies that are sort of cheesy and cheap but good. This went beyond that point, and I was just like, this is just absolutely stupid.
It's a shame we didn't really.
It made me feel dumb.
What are you trying to say? I really like that film.
It made me feel really stupid for watching it, and I got bored watching that end bit.
Really?
I was just a bit like,
So I thought that was the greatest thing ever, where they're picking the guy up by his pants and slinging him about.
Yeah. So is it like a big fight scene at the end? But
Do you want us to spoil it?
I don't want you to spoil it, but you can tell me, because I've got an idea it's going to be a fight scene. That would make sense to have a fight scene.
Essentially, it's a fight scene.
Is it like in the style of the Power Rangers? That cheap.
Do you want to know?
I want to watch. I'm going to go away and watch it, but
do you want to know or not?
I would like to go away and watch it. So
okay, so I'll tell you. Okay.
All right, we'll just leave it to that.
We'll just leave it at the. Yeah, it takes a turn for the worst, in my opinion. You might like it, Joe. You might just think this is out there bizarre.
The other one was a reference to Ultraman, I think, because that had a whole family of Ultraman thing going on. There was a mum and a dad, and
but they're
doing their cosmic ray, and he was like, oh, I'm not actually having any effect on this, I thought was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, no, I either didn't get it. I was tired by that point and just couldn't be bothered with it, or I just thought this is. They've carried on for so long and just bored me for so long and just kind of carried on this story and not really made it interesting for me. I just got to that point and I was like, hasn't made it go up. It's just made it go down.
If you got to that halfway point of the film and then kind of went, it's not doing it, because I stayed at the same level all the way through thinking, this is pretty cool, I'm quite enjoying this. Yeah. And then the end was just like a curveball and I'm like, this is amazing. Yeah.
Well, the fact that, not to spoil too much for you, Joe, but the fact that when Big Man Japan powers up and he goes to fight the other beasties, when half the time he just stands there like talking to him, it's just like, this is just so. I at least would have thought like him growing up and being Big Man Japan would have created some excitement in the movie, but the kind of the drabness of the documentary I liked, because I like sort of mockumentaries and documentaries. The fact that they're not like scripted or pre-planned or anything like that. They just kind of go along and then something happens and it makes it more interesting. But it was like. They had the documentary style, he's chatting, he's just talking about everyday life, I go to this restaurant and I order the same thing every time. And then they interview the other guy and he's like, I didn't know that's Big Man Japan. Oh, that's kind of cool, he comes in 3 times a week and orders the same thing. It's like, okay, you're going to kind of make this guy's life really uninteresting, then you can have that moment, boom, Big Man Japan, big battle, destruction, chaos, but it's like, he gets into Big Man Japan, has these little pants, and then sort of talks to the beasties.
Well, I like that, because he went a lot, he's like, can you stop please? And then when he does actually kill a monster, everyone hates him. Yeah. Because it was like, oh, you killed the baby, and he's like, oh, fuck hell. I like that though, because it was just like, he can't win no matter what he does. Yeah. And then there's that one that terrified him and he ran away from it, and it was like, Big Man Japan's a coward, we all hate you.
It was funny and it was tongue in cheek, but like I said, by the time the second monster, second beastie, I was just like, I'm just so uninterested now. It's not.
Don't let that put you off watching any. He's done 2 other films. Don't let that. One involves wrestling.
I think the guy could be really funny. I think he's got a good eye for comedy. I just think, that just didn't do it for me. Not
fair enough. That's a big fat 0 from ChapterSkip.
So no one saw a film that they liked this week.
Well, I did. I took a trip to the cinema this week.
You've been to the new one?
I went to the new cinema here in Wisbech, the Light Cinema. For people who live in Wisbech, you'll know that we've just had a new cinema complex built, and I was thoroughly impressed by the new cinema.
I'm guessing I know what you've watched as well.
You may not want to watch, but I'll get to that in just a second. Yeah. Upon entering the new Light Cinema, I was like, okay, this looks quite nice. The fact that most of the tills were, you go to the till to buy a ticket and you go to the till to buy, your popcorn and whatnot, seemed counterproductive. Right. I like the fact in the Showcase Cinema in Peterborough, you go to one side, you're going to get your tickets, the other side you go and grab your munchies and whatnot, and it's a bit like, if it's rammed and you want to get tickets and you've got 10 minutes left, or, the film's about to start, you can't sort of get in the right queue, you got to kind of go, where am I going to go? That I didn't like, but I think they'll probably sort that out. They haven't got card payments just yet, so it's like, you got to go cash, But that aside, it looked really nice. There's a place called the Green Room. Looks like a nice little sort of cafe area. Looks like it could be sort of something in, I don't know, New York or London, where you can just go in and chill out and sit there with your big hipster beard and have a coffee, and maybe they did say they're going to have live music, so maybe they'll have somebody sitting on a stool playing acoustic guitar. People are like, man, this is so cute.
Pretty cool.
But and then you go up some stairs, escalator, even better, don't have to walk upstairs, fantastic. And then you get upstairs and, it looks really nice, got some cool art on the walls.
Because they've got 6 screens, isn't it? But
they've got 8 screens, but 2 of them are out of order because they had a sort of a flooding problem in there, which delayed the opening date of the cinema. But nonetheless, it was really, really nice. You got the escalator, and there's sofas, there's areas to chill out. If you're there before the movie and you've just grabbed your popcorn or a drink or whatever, you can just go and chill out. You don't have to go and sit in the cinema and watch the adverts and have idiots behind you chatting, throwing popcorn or whatever. And then you actually go into the cinema, and then as soon as I got in there, I was like, wow, massive screen. Bigger than Peterborough.
Really?
Huge screen, really, really good. I was in screen number 6, I think.
So they're all the same size?
I don't know if they're the same. Obviously, I only went in one, but the one we went in was huge. Tiered seating. So obviously you don't just go in there. You're not worried about if you go in there, Joe, you're like 8 foot tall.
So like Huntington, I guess, really things on a step.
You do need them. You really do.
What was the price of it though?
It was £9 per ticket. So
that's the only.
Off peak is $7.20, I think, and all days on Wednesdays is $5.50.
So that's the only downside then compared to the one in town. Because
Yeah.
if you go up there and you're not pre-booking or whatever, what you call it, £7.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, but you know, it's a case of, do you go to the Lux in Wisbech and have limited sort of movies to watch?
Yeah.
You know, they show sort of 2 or 3 movies per month.
although we
probably.
did tweet the other day about doing a themed
Which I thought was in
thing a month. You put horror on his,
I did.
and I tweeted him and put indie horror movies, English or foreign, don't care, and he retweeted that the other day. So maybe, which I would go and do that.
Of course.
But yeah, I don't think the opening of the new Light Cinema is gonna kind of make the Lux go away.
Yeah, because that's what they was worried about, I think. Because
I think-
Obviously, you got
Because I
to.
took-
For a big blockbuster film, probably go for the light.
Well, yeah, because they're going to get it quicker, aren't they? Because they've got more screens. I took Rachel to the Lux the other day because obviously we went and see.
Yeah, we went and watched a certain
which
big...
we're going to talk about soon.
Yeah.
But no, she loved it. She absolutely loved that cinema. She thought it was beautiful
Well, she
because
said
it was
it was-
like a front room. She said
She said to me that it was weird when you go in and you don't think you're in a cinema, you think you're in a bar.
Yeah.
There's no smell of popcorn
That's
or
it.
whatever.
And
it's
she
a bit-
thought it was going to be a bit
you're not
strange.
sure, but
And then she went in and she just loved it. So
Yeah,
that's-
well, you know, I think if the Lux is going to show the movie that I want to watch, I'll
course.
prioritise
Of
them.
course, yeah,
it's
yeah,
cheaper,
yeah.
it's closer.
it's independent, they're helping them out.
Exactly.
You know, it's nice.
I'll spend less money
Yeah.
on petrol. I'll spend less money on the ticket. So I'll definitely prioritise over them. But if they're not showing the movie I want, I'll
Yeah,
definitely
so
go
we've
to
got to
the
do a review or something.
Yeah, I'll definitely go to the Light Cinema. Yeah, you go in there. It's tiered seating. The seats are really, really comfy.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
And
awesome.
yeah, just good sound. You know, massive screen, and yeah, really,
We'll have to have a
really,
little
really
day out.
impressed.
We'll
Yeah,
have to
there's
have a little
quite a
day out,
few
the 3 of us.
films coming
4
out
of us.
this summer that
Yeah.
are looking good. There was a lot of trailers when we went to
Yeah, that's it.
And on the way out, I thought this was a really, really cool touch. You go up the escalator on the way in, and then when the movie finishes, the escalator switches round, and you can go down on the escalator rather than have to take the stairs, which is good because, you know, I'm lazy.
I thought you said you getting a blowjob or something.
It depends who you take to the cinema.
This is amazing!
9 quid and a free blowjob.
Hey! No, that sounds really cool. That
Yeah,
sounds cool. I'll
and
check it out.
they put on Facebook.
Should we just point out you don't actually get a free blowjob
No.
before
But
you get confused?
Warning!
if you
No
go,
blowjob.
Unless Joe's here and he's feeling a bit...
Yeah, you never know.
but if you went in the free, if you went in the first week of the opening, you got a free bag of popcorn. So I did get something for free.
Oh.
Wasn't quite a blowjob, but that's
That
popcorn.
must be one of the only people who's like a movie nerd that doesn't give a shit about popcorn.
Well,
It's
I
nice.
was hungry, so.
And things
but
that
it's
are
just a
free
bit-
are nice.
I don't know.
I always like things that are
I
free.
never really give a monkeys about it. I never buy it. Never buy
I don't buy it, but if it's for free, I'm gonna have it.
Yeah.
If they said, do you want a free, I don't know, something you don't like, you still have it because it's free,
Beer.
yeah.
You wouldn't drink a beer. 'Cause
Yeah, say if I was with you guys and I don't drink and you guys do, and everyone got a free beer, I'd get a free beer and give it to you guys. You know, I'm not going to be like, I don't drink.
That's true.
so
I
I'm
wasn't
not
going to
gonna
drink anything when we went. I had a bottle of water and then
I'll
Joe
give you
bought me a
a
Coke,
Coke.
so I thought, alright then. Thanks,
Yeah,
Joe.
exactly. So,
yeah. Cheers for that, man.
it's fine.
yeah, if you guys are out there and are wondering whether to go to the Light Cinema, just try it. You know, maybe go on an off-peak time, which just over
I
£7.
do want to give it a
You go and experience
I do.
it.
Yeah, I do. I said we should have a day out probably sometime when we're all free.
Well,
when
I'm
we're
going to
all
go and
free,
see
and go
the film
watch
I
something.
suspect that you went and watched.
Yeah, and one final thing about the cinema. Here's something that I knew that it was a good thing for our town. Is, you know, when you go into a cinema, you kind of immerse yourself in the world of whatever you go and see. You kind of you're thinking about the movie, that's all you're thinking about. You're not thinking about outside world, you're not thinking about work tomorrow or, you know, this and that and that. And as I exited the cinema, I was still thinking about the movie and I walked out and I was like, where am I? I don't feel like I'm in Wisbech. So it kind of transported me out of the town. I was like,
That's always good.
this is really nice.
That's always really good.
I suspended my disbelief in thinking I'm not actually in this little
Yeah, I
playground town.
suppose.
Yeah, so I felt like it was a really, really
Yeah,
good
or
place.
you're in Peterborough or somewhere like that. Sort of
Yeah, I've been to cinemas in Leicester
Yeah.
that were similar, and it's like you come out and sort of the lights are on, it looks really
Yeah.
nice, you're a bit like wow, and the staff are really friendly as well. You know,
Yeah, good.
as you go
That's
in,
good,
they
yeah,
greet you.
yeah.
We'll see if that lasts.
Yeah, until you're really
We'll
You
good.
have,
definitely
to,
get drained.
you have to pre-book your seats.
okay.
We went on G15 and
right,
16,
you
and
have
they
to
show
do
you
that.
to your seat, stuff like
Oh,
that.
wow.
You know, so
That's-
I thought that was really good, and they came in beforehand. I don't know whether it's because they haven't got an advert at the beginning that says, you know, turn your phones off and shut
right.
the fuck up. But they had somebody come in and say, oh, the film's about to start, do you mind switching your phones off or turn to silent and enjoy the movie? And I
That's
thought,
really,
that's a
again,
nice
that's
little
really
touch.
nice. Again,
Nice
I like
little
them
touch.
little things. I hope they keep all that up though. I really
Yeah.
do. I hope that.
Is it
don't
old fashioned
fade
with the
it.
curtains?
No, unfortunately not. No. But yeah, thoroughly impressed. And the movie that I went to see was X-Men: Days of Future
Yeah,
Past.
I thought
Was
we-
that what you
we-
suspected?
that's what I was
that's-
suspecting,
We
yeah.
see the trailer, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at that.
and just a quick review, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. if you're an X-Men fan and you liked First Class and all the other 3 movies, plus the Wolverine spin-offs, the ones that you can like, because everyone knows that X-Men Origins Wolverine was a pile of steaming turd. If you like the movies and you know the canon, I think you'll really, really, really like this movie. If you're not so sure and you can't really follow on what's going on, plus there's the added benefit of time travel, you might get a little bit confused. But as I loved each and every one of the X-Men movies, bar X-Men Origins Wolverine, I really, really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. I was immersed in the world. I thought it was a great story. It had a lot of comedy and it had a good deal of action, suspense, and just generally, you know, sometimes when you watch a movie, you know what's going to happen. The good guys win or whatever. You know, there was a lot of times it felt very fatalistic. You was a bit like, is shit going to go down? You know, is it going to go into the next movie on, you know, a bit of a fucking
One quick thing. What was the sound like in there? Very good?
Yeah. I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. So I think for me, if I'd have noticed that it was a bit ropey, then I would have had a problem. But it was definitely surround sound because there were certain points, you know, when you hear... You know the whole when Professor X goes in Cerebro and you hear the people, you know, you hear it going all around the cinema.
I think that's the only thing in the Lux that they're really lacking on that doesn't quite hit me that well. The sound.
I don't know. When me and Chud watched Godzilla at the Lux, I was impressed with the sound. That whole
but I don't think it quite uses the surround as good as it could. But that's because that's one of them things I really like when it uses it.
And I'm not going to harp on about X-Men. I'm going to try and maybe do a podcast / spoilercast by myself, but I don't know whether I'll be able to do it because it's nice to be able to battle.
Or do a mini review and put it on the main channel because I was going to do another one, or actually recorded one on Friday because Joe and I went and watched Godzilla Thursday.
Yep.
And I've actually brought it with me because I've had a few issues. I don't know if you have a look.
You brought Godzilla with you?
Yeah, I've got Godzilla in my pocket. It's what I call my penis. Have a quick look.
It's more than purple.
It gets bigger if you rub him. Mind the atomic breath.
That's the wine sticky.
Anyway, I videoed a review for it on Friday and I cannot edit the damn thing together. I'm getting the audio's fine, video's playing twice the speed.
Okay.
It was only at 14 frames per second,
right?
But the audio plays fine. I've then gone into a converted it to a 30 frame per second thing, and then it's all slightly out of sync, and I just cannot. But I've stuck it all on the thing if you want to have a little peep.
Okay.
It's entirely up to you. I'll leave it on the side here.
Alright, I'll have a little play.
I've got the outtakes on there as well. I'll keep mine in separate folders. I've got one here's review, here's a folder for outtakes.
No, that's cool, man.
Good stuff, fluff up.
There's a couple of things where I've put the simultaneous. I've got the same take in there twice in a way because I've done it once, done it again. I haven't decided which was the better one.
I'll have a little play around.
But I cannot.
I can do.
Because we went and watched it.
It might be something to do with the frame rate because obviously if you've recorded something in 14 frames per second, bumping something up to 30 frames per second is going to make it go a little bit dodgy.
I had it set on automatic and then, I don't know, but I don't know why the audio was fine and the picture was twice as quick and I just couldn't, anyway.
Well, hopefully we'll get it sorted.
Because there was a lot of things about it I wanted to talk about.
Did you listen to our spoiler cast?
Yeah, we both
I agree with a fair majority of it.
I really do.
Yeah.
I do think that.
Bryan Cranston was fucking awesome.
Right, for you guys out there listening to the ChapterSkip podcast that haven't seen Godzilla, I think we're about to get into some spoiler talk.
Yeah.
So
very minor, I'm not going to do major spoilers.
But there may be something, you know, you just mentioned Bryan Cranston. I'm
not going to go into anything
or I'll keep my mouth shut then.
But when you guys were saying about the bit with his wife, which was in the trailer anyway, pretty much.
Right, yeah.
We were like, don't really give it... Chud was like, yeah, I don't care about that bitch.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't know that character... Didn't really give a fuck. His performance was so good. Emotionally,
you're
like,
amazing.
I do give a shit about that character because look at him. He really cares.
And the whole scene where he's been locked up and shit's going down. He's like, you know, I'm right. There's something out there. You're not telling us. I was like, oh, Walter White's back. You know,
he was awesome. But there weren't the fucking enough of him. Ken Watanabe was fucking awesome. Had some brilliant lines. The whole Gojira thing and the whole.
That was amazing to the camera.
Did you guys like almost piss yourself on that bit?
I was just like, this is amazing.
Chud was like fighting away the laughter because we knew obviously they were always going to put a cliche Japanese man in to go, Godzilla. And he did it and we were like, yes!
The other bit that was in the trailer, he was like, let them fight.
Yeah.
It's like, he's got all the best lines, but there weren't enough of him.
No.
Aaron Taylor Johnson was fucking terrible.
Fucking boring. I was just like, don't care.
I didn't give a shit about him.
I know
I think they tried to do him as like a no-nonsense Marine. So he was like focused on the mission. But I think if the mission involves a giant fucking monster, you're allowed to be a bit like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? Show a bit of emotion.
He just didn't. It was very.
He had emotion at the start when Bryan Cranston and him were being a bit sad, and then it was like,
But I like the fact that Aaron Taylor-Johnson didn't overshadow Godzilla. So you're a bit like, give a fuck about you. I want to see that massive 400-foot monster kick some ass.
Yeah. When Godzilla, like you guys, I think you said it was like a good hand job. It teased and teased.
Yeah, it really did.
Really.
See, a lot of people hated the fact about the issue with Bryan Cranston. They hated the issue with Godzilla just appearing in little bits and then let's cut to a broadcast.
I think it have mixed moments, mixed reviews, because it very. I think it would have very mixed reviews, like Monsters did, because that was quite slow and to date and.
What the film Monsters? I mean, the film Monsters. Yeah, I was like
the same guy did. Yeah,
I was like Chud. Yeah, I didn't.
Because there was a bit in
I didn't like that.
Godzilla. It reminded me of that when they meet up and it's like passing you the bomb and have that little nuzzle moment and it gives them
the gas station,
which was
So what was the issues that you had? Were those the issues you had with the movie?
The main thing was, I don't mind it focused on the human side, but you needed Aaron Taylor-Johnson's, whether it was the director's fault or what, I don't know, but he was just didn't care. And there's that issue with
maybe Gareth Edwards knows how to direct monsters and not not actual people.
But the thing with their kid, where she's like, "Oh, you, my friend who I work with, look after my son for me." When the bus is on the fucking bridge, where was that woman? That bus was full of fucking children.
Yeah, she was.
I don't remember
she was in
seeing
front of the
that.
bus. No, I don't know, because it was a man driver.
There's a black guy driving the bus, and I don't remember seeing, unless I blinked.
Yeah.
But it was just loads of kids, and I'm like, was there that many kids on the bus?
And then when he looks after the Chinese kid, or well, not Chinese, was it Hawaiian kid? They're in Hawaii. And then he just goes off to his parents.
Yeah.
He's like,
it was a bit like,
then you say goodbye.
I know you're right. I know you said this, but I thought, fuck, I was laughing at that.
That kid was a reference because I noticed a few when. Heisenberg and Kick-Ass go back to their family home. Did you spot the Mothra reference?
Yes.
The tank?
Yeah.
It had Mothra written on it.
You said that to me, didn't you? But I didn't.
See, I thought I saw it, and I was a bit like, I know I saw it, but
the word
sure
it's something Mothra.
It says it in trivia. I've read the trivia, and it says it in that as well.
The boat at the end was Go Whale Tours. Which technically is Godzilla Tours because it was the whole gorilla whale thing.
Oh yeah.
So that was the boat that he's going on at the end with the bomb.
I didn't notice that. That's really good.
And the shot that was in the trailer where the kid's in the classroom and you see the nuclear power station collapsing.
Yeah.
One of the older films, it was a colour one, it's got kids in the classroom, they hear a rumble and they go and look outside and there's a nuclear explosion in the background. So it was that shot. I've got a few notes. I think that kid on the train, red t-shirt, baseball hat, there was a kid in a red t-shirt and a baseball hat in Godzilla versus Megalon. So I reckon, and he was annoying, that's why I remembered him so much.
Probably why as well.
And that's the film that had Jet Jaguar in it, which was an old Ultraman kind of thing. It was stupid.
I'm not very good with the...
I think there was even a reference to the shitty 1998 movie. Because there was a bit when they're on the streets and it panned up, there was a police barrier thing, one of them wooden barriers, and it panned up from that, and it was almost the same shot in the original one when it panned up and then the car started bouncing with the footsteps, and it had that similar shot. It looked up and my brain was going, this car's going to bounce in a minute, and then I'm like, that was the shit version, get out of my head! So I think there's a lot of references in there.
I read on the trivia afterwards because I always look at films on IMDb. But what's I'm not very good with the baddies of Godzilla's baddie. Is it what's he called? Mothra? Yeah. When you said about the school and you said the nuclear thing, the blasting at the kids, they was doing. There is a Mothra in there or something. They're doing something with it. Just read the trivia and you understand what I'm saying. There's some with the Mothra in the class. What they're doing.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, there is. That's what I've read.
Right.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd put that out there. Because it was that sort of.
And then, I mean, that's only a few that I watched when I was sat there. Like, there's something familiar about that. There really is, and it was like I found the shot of the nuclear explosion. I'm like, shit, it was from a film. And it was the little kid. Definitely, I'm like, that's that fucking kid out of the Jet Jaguar movie. It's got to be him.
It was great. Again, the sound. For me, it was awesome. And I'm like, wow, what you said and all that. Jesus.
I mean, Godzilla
proper kicking.
Done what Godzilla. You come to see him do. It was. The problem is where they put the intermission. I think it was when the explosions were happening.
No, it's when he comes up out of the water, isn't it? You know when he's in that thing.
I'm sure you had the explosions at the airport, and then you saw Godzilla, the legs come in, and it panned up, and I'm like, I was getting ready to go, fucking yes, and jump up, and it's like, the intermission, you bastard.
That's the thing. I think that's what made the teasing so much more teasing, basically. It was like, for those out there, we watched the movie at the Lux Cinema in Wisbeach, and they have an intermission halfway through the movie.
Nice.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice. It's nice for my girlfriend. She was like, I need to piss, I need to piss. And I was like, right, they're doing an intermission soon. And then it happened, she's like, I'm out of here. And then it's like, okay, that's fine. So it was good in that sense, but I was like, the teasing has gone on for far too long. I just want to see Godzilla come and fuck some stuff up, and then it's intermission. I was like, no! Stop teasing me! But I like being teased because, you know, things like Attack on Titan, Breaking Bad, where they end on a cliffhanger, so awesome because it builds up that tension.
And the original 1954 Godzilla, especially the proper Japanese version, it is more about the human side of the story.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time to really build up to Godzilla, which this did. Minor spoiler, the bit that you'd mentioned, when the breath, you see the light, the glow coming on from the top. It's like, it's gonna fucking do it!
Yeah.
And the whole one
I got
down the
really
mouth.
excited. I got excited about that.
Every time Godzilla done something, you're like, this is fucking amazing.
And when
Even though it had that slow pace to it,
Yeah.
the Godzilla stuff was brilliant, and it was exactly how it should. And I didn't think he looked that fat.
He looked a bit fat, but
A little bit, but I've seen him look.
that's understandable, isn't it?
I think
I thought he looked good.
Godzilla versus Space Godzilla, it looked quite similar to that. I think he had a quite chunky build in that one.
And I like his colour and the scars and things. It was cool.
Yeah, it was all really, really good. I really enjoyed it.
That's good. I'm
The
glad you did.
Godzilla stuff was really good. It was just the Aaron Taylor Johnson stuff.
Yeah, we loved
which was
it,
a bit.
I kind of thought you wouldn't like it, Mark.
Really?
I had this,
Oh, right.
had this niggling feeling that you wouldn't like it because you're such a Godzilla nerd. You know, you reference Godzilla
true.
in
It's true,
space and
really,
Godzilla versus whoever.
But I like, because to me it was like, he's a fan, and that's why he's putting all these. It weren't.
you
because
like
I'm copying.
monsters as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't mind that. I like that. I don't. Yeah, it's a nice change of pace sometimes, but that worked. It built up and built up and built up, and then it let go. It was just. It's just that Aaron Taylor Johnson stuff. I mean, he can act, but I don't know. I think he was going for the no nonsense marine thing, kind of focused on the mission, and it didn't quite do it.
It was too much, really.
Well, how about a segue? Gareth Edwards, the director of Godzilla, is set to direct a Star Wars spin-off.
I'll cross it off my notes then, because I've got that down as well.
The news is broken by Heat Vision, who have also revealed that in the film script will be penned by Gary Whitta, and the project is set to open in US screens in December 2016.
Okay.
And apparently it's one of Gareth Edwards' one things he wanted to do. So he's pretty much on a meteoric rise, isn't he? He spent a lot of time doing the film Monsters that we alluded to, which, you know, he did pretty much by himself. And then he's done Godzilla. I'm sure that was another, you know, check off his box of things to do. And being a massive Star Wars nerd, he's going to direct a spin-off.
And he is possibly attached to Godzilla 2. They've got him down as being attached to the project, so hopefully.
But he's not directing the Monsters sequel. So he may not direct the Godzilla sequel.
Okay.
So maybe he's just like,
I didn't even know they were doing a Monsters sequel, so that's neat. Oh, right, that's news.
Yeah, I saw the trailer, I was a bit like, I'm not overwhelmed by it. I think...
Oh, go on, sorry, Karen.
No, carry on.
I was going to say, what trailers did you get that you was interested in? Because there was 22 Jump Street, which I thought looked shit.
I thought it looked really funny.
I thought it looked good.
I watched 21 Jump Street
I
in
like
the
the
cinema.
first one.
I've not seen the
And
first one, and
it's
Amy keeps telling me I need to watch it. We've got it on DVD.
no, it's
and I'm like,
great. First one.
It's not going to be your thing, but it's one of those things. Jonah Hill is really funny. Channing Tatum's actually really
He
funny.
really is.
I like
But it's one of those
Yeah.
really
20 seconds of the trailer.
stupid movies.
Where there was like, he had his little bandana on and he was trying to be all Mexican or whatever. And after that, it was like, are you going to keep being this stupid all the way through? It was like, I don't know.
You got to expect that.
You got to
It's almost-
understand his sort of humour from Superbad and all that.
I really like the first one. It was very stupid, but it knew it was stupid. It meant to be stupid.
Perhaps
I
I'll
think the
give it a
second
go
one will be the same. I don't think you're not going to learn anything from it. You will probably feel dumber after watching it.
See, Amy wants to see it, but then she might like go with a niece or something and convince someone to go.
Yeah, I think one of the other trailers was Transformers
Cruise.
4.
That Tom Cruise
Did we
one.
get Transformers 4 trailer?
No, we got the Tom Cruise one.
Yeah, Edge of
Tomorrow.
I'm
God, that
not
looks
sure
dog
about
shit.
I don't know. I'm
You
not
feel
sure about
about
it.
it?
Yeah,
we
I
was a
think
bit
it's
like, I
I'm
don't know.
intrigued
Space
by the
Groundhog
story.
Day.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of intrigued by the story. I like the idea of she's training him and he's like, I broke my leg. She's like, well, it'll be quicker to shoot you then.
Yeah.
I'm kind of intrigued.
I don't ever see Tom Cruise as an action star, and
That's what he does.
Emily Blunt's not really an action star either. So it's a bit like two people that I don't envision as action stars. I like Emily Blunt as an actor. You know, she's attractive, she's good, she's British, which are all good things. But it's a bit
As
like
is Gareth Edwards. So.
well, yeah, exactly. And I watched that trailer, and I was just a bit like, nah, it looks a bit shit. Actually.
I'm not sure. It's kind of intrigued me, but it's one of those I'm not going to know until I watch
Yeah.
it. What I really
I think it's
did
going to
like-
have too much kind of Scientology. It's going to be like one of these things. It's like, all right, Tom Cruise has been like, yeah, I'll star in this movie. Can we put a bit more Scientology in it?
Hiding
Yeah.
some secrets in
Yeah,
this
can we
one,
put some? Yeah,
subliminal
yeah.
message.
You know, in Scientology we die, but we're reincarnated again. You know, in the next life. It's like, oh,
Thanks to the giant space god, whatever his fucking name is in his volcano.
The crab men.
One of crab people. We always do this. One trailer I really liked though was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. that looks
I didn't have that
fucking
trailer.
awesome.
Yeah, they did. They look really good.
I really like the Rise of the Planet of the Apes. When I saw the trailer for that originally, I was like, don't know, CGI apes, not sure it's going to work. Thought I'd give it a go. Really fucking liked it. Big surprise that film. You'd like it, James Franco. So
Yeah,
just
Franco
for that.
and Andy Serkis as the main gorilla.
as Caesar.
Yeah,
But it was
yeah.
a surprisingly good film. Which I thought, this is actually pretty good. And then the trailer for the new one, I'm like, I've got to fucking watch this.
I've not
Really
ever
good.
been interested in any of the apes sort of movies. I don't know why they don't grab me. You would have thought sort of badass.
Probably because
gorillas.
one of them was a Tim Burton film, the remake, which was awful.
Probably, yeah.
And
there you
Helena
go.
Bonham Carter looked like
She looked
herself.
like a fucking...
She looked like herself when she was an ape.
Maybe I'll give that one a miss
It was
then.
ridiculous.
So what's the timeline in regards to the... Because it's like, there's
It's
the
a
Dawn
whole-
of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet, Rise of the Dawn of the Planet.
If you
the
forget
Rise-
about the originals, this is like the Rise of the Planet of the Apes is a prequel. So
Right.
the apes, they're still apes. They're not even ape. They're not ape people.
Right.
They're just apes. The lab where James Franco's been working, they've been trying to do some sort of memory, some drug that will
I heard there was
aid
gonna
the
be a
memory. I think
spin-off as well.
he's trying to do it to help cure some. His dad's got Alzheimer's, so he's trying to do a drug on the apes that will cure Alzheimer's, and then one of these apes gets super intelligent.
Yeah, I heard there was going to be a spin-off with James Franco. It's going to be Spring Bret Apers.
Oh God.
String rapers. String rapers.
String Rapers.
Shoestring rapers.
Spring Bret
String
Apers.
rapers.
Spring breakers.
God.
As in like breaking springs.
Anyway, carry on. So,
Shit, Joe.
I was
Off the week.
The worst bit is I'm thinking, what if it's James Franco? I can't get a monkey reference for fucking Pineapple Express. What am I going to do? I'm not thinking like, orangutan? Nah, fuck, I can't think of nothing. What can go with your highness? No, I've got nothing. No, they're doing this, he's trying to do this drug anyway.
I wasn't listening to your whole thing there. I was thinking about, I'm going to get a chance to put in this
You're like, I've got a joke I want to do. But he's developing this drug, he's hoping to cure Alzheimer's, if I remember rightly, and one of the monkeys is pregnant, and then the one that gives birth to the little baby chimp becomes super intelligent, and I think he hides it. I think they're scrapping the project, so he takes it home with him, and then I think that's when he starts to realise how clever this ape can be. But then there's an issue when it tries to protect his dad, who's got Alzheimer's, wanders out into the street, and the chimp goes to protect him because their neighbour's having a go at this old bloke who scratched his car or something. And
Yeah.
so the ape goes to protect him. People are like, oh fuck, you've got this ape, we're going to put it in a sanctuary
help a monkey.
thing, but the people that run the sanctuary are all bastards, and then he starts befriending all the other apes and organises this kind of ape uprising. But it makes sense as you watch it. How ridiculous it is with an ape uprising, but as you watch it, like, it's a natural progression, and it was really fucking good.
Oh, that's
really,
cool.
I could quite happily go and watch it now. To be honest, I really enjoyed it.
Oh, I might have to check that out.
So
see.
I'm definitely going to check out the new one.
Well, I think our cinema trip must have substituted the apes for Transformers 4, which I'm not really that interested in. They've kind of taken half the characters that were in the other movies and taken them out. I think the only recurring character is Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, which I guess if you're watching the Transformers movie is very good, and it's got Mark Wahlberg in it. I like Mark Wahlberg. And
It hasn't got Shia LaBeouf though, so it's going to be an improvement.
Yeah, I suppose so. And you do get to see a scene where Optimus Prime is riding Grimlock as one of the Dinobots. Now, how badass is that?
awesome.
But I'm sure Michael Bay will direct it in a style that you don't actually see it, or you get to see his really quick cuts of explosions and you'll be like, what happened? Who's still alive? Where's Mark Wahlberg? I don't know.
Oh God.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something I'll watch it at some point.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I wouldn't go and fork out £9 on it.
Well, it all depends on what's on at the same time. I'm one of these people that's a bit like, I would watch it if nothing better was on, you know. If X-Men Days of Future Past was on and Transformers was on, I would definitely prioritise the X-Men movie. But say if, I don't know, what's a really Big Man Japan Transformers was on, I'd definitely watch Transformers.
Oh no, what's the matter with you?
Gareth Edwards, as we were talking about before, is going to direct a Star Wars spin-off. How would you guys like to be in the new Star Wars movie? Would you?
No, that'd be cool.
So, I mean, you got we
20 years ago, I'd have gone, oh yeah, but after the prequels, I'm like, nah, you're right.
It'd still be cool.
Yeah, I
yeah.
suppose. Yeah, it
I
would
mean,
be,
we've done. I say this loosely in parentheses. We've done extras work before, but how cool would it be to be on the set with the likes of Andy Serkis
Yeah, it
and
would be cool.
Chewbacca.
But they had an open casting thing, didn't they? Which
They
anyone
did,
could have gone to.
but there's a new way that you can both help charity and be in Star Wars Episode 7.
Oh, I'm not charitable now. I've got torn principles.
Yeah. They've announced that there's this thing called Star Wars: A Force for Change, where Disney have pledged $1 million to a charity, and then have given somebody the chance, if you pledge a certain amount of money and you get picked randomly, you could be in the next Star Wars movie and be on set with J.J. Abrams and be a personal friend of J.J. Abrams. I'm not guaranteeing this, but
Bring him
it
his
might
tea.
happen.
Get me the box of lens flare.
I mean, I'll probably get on my glasses lens flare. Wouldn't I? I'll fucking see it anyway. Ah!
So if you guys want to get involved in Star
Imagine
Wars,
the lens flare that come off my bald head.
blind everyone in the
Get out of it!
in the
Jesus
universe.
Christ.
He just destroyed the Death Star with his lens flare off his head.
Sorry.
Death Star was based on his head.
Sorry.
So if you want to be in it, go to omaze.com/Star Wars, and it's a bit like Kickstarter, but obviously you're not pledging towards the movie, because Disney have got enough money, I'm sure. So what you do?
Oh, we always need more money, fuckers.
So what you do, you pledge money and you get different awards, and then your pledge goes into a whole pot, and then they pick out who's going to win the
quite cool,
special
That's a
trip.
cool idea.
So if you support $10, your name goes on as a founding member. For $40, you get a thank you card from J.J. Abrams. That's quite cool. $70, you get a
God.
for $70, you get a 10x12 thank you video from J.J. Abrams. You get T-shirts for $100. You get loads and loads of cool stuff.
$100 for a T-shirt is a bit steep, though.
But it's something that's probably going to be a one-off kind of thing. There's only 10, so 10 left.
Okay,
so
yeah.
it's going to be something like that. And then the $50,000, you get an advanced private screening of Star Wars Episode 7 in your near your hometown with 20 guests.
All right.
I know it's a lot of money, 50 grand, but that would be quite cool.
Yeah.
So if you fancy doing that, omaze.com.
Since the prequels, I've kind of well, not since before the prequel, since George Lucas did the special editions. That's when I've kind of been.
But the thing is, Lucasfilms has been bought out by Disney, so George Lucas has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
So basically, J.J.
He's got his
Abrams.
hand in somewhere.
Trying to put a new.
Yeah, but J.J. Abrams has done some good movies.
Yeah.
I really like Super 8. I love the two Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
So if he's
So we put a
writing
nice
it,
spin on it, I think. Yeah.
maybe he can take it and.
I'm not bothered about Super 8, but I like the Star Trek films. I think he's done a good job of them.
We did.
And I won't be so bothered if he puts lens flare in Star Wars.
It won't be
movies.
as bad as the prequels, no matter what. Nothing can be as bad
But
as they were.
I think the thing with prequels is you have to live up to the canon of the other movies. You can't take it in your own direction because it's like, I want my character to do
That's
X.
what annoyed
because...
everyone about the prequels, I think, because he then fucked with his own canon. Because the whole thing was like the Force was just this mystical energy. Some people had it, some people didn't. And he went, it's parasites live in your body. Like, what the fuck? It's like, oh yeah, Darth Vader made C-3PO when he was a boy. Like, what the fuck are you on, George Lucas?
I've got to admit, I think
I know you don't know what I'm talking
Joe's
about,
the same. Like, I've never watched any of the.
It's pretty bad.
Knowingly watched any of
You know
the
how
Star
much
Wars.
everyone hated Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
What they'd have to do for episode 7 is just someone walk up and push him into a turbine, watch him get diced in the film, and then they're going to be fucking happy. There'll be a huge cheer and everyone will go, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
But
as a non-Star Wars fan, I've got high hopes for it being a sort of a decent sort of space movie because they announced some of the cast and it looked like a fairly good cast. I'm sure Andy Serkis is going to be another kind of CGI sort of type monster. Which,
nice to see him as himself.
and
Did you know-
the original cast has come back for C-3PO and
Yeah,
Chewbacca and stuff like
that. Peter Mayhew, yes.
Did you know he helped for Godzilla for the monster? Did you know he?
Andy Serkis.
He helped.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, did some of the motion capture for that.
Did
as
he
well.
really?
So I think any point now, somebody's going to be writing a movie going, I've got a big beastie here, or just write Andy Serkis' name in there just because he's probably going to do it.
Was he in Big Man in Japan? Was he in that?
No, that's why it was shit.
I wasn't out with you. You'll have to watch it, Joe, and see what
It's
you
probably
think.
not Andy Serkis. It's probably like Andy.
So what we need is
Small 10.
a film that's going to have Andy Serkis as a CGI beastie and co-starring with him would be Doug Jones as a really cool puppeted.
Oh, imagine that, yeah. That'd be
Because
really
he's the king of the
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be crazy.
costume creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, I've got no notes left. There were some other trailers that showed at the film. I'm sure there was one other, and I can't remember what it was. Another sci-fi.
I think the last 3 movies I've had the same trailers come up, you know, like Transformers and Edge of Tomorrow. So nothing new on that front, but I shall have a look at my notes and see what else we've got to talk about. Here's one. Speaking of Marvel movies and going to the cinema and watching X-Men Days of Future Past, Ant-Man, did you hear the news?
No, I haven't heard any on that.
Yeah.
Edgar Wright will no longer direct Ant-Man
Oh, okay.
due to creative differences.
Which means it's probably going to be crap now.
Yeah, apparently he stepped down from making it because apparently Marvel and Disney wanted to have a lot to do with the up-and-coming Phase 3 of the Marvel
They want
Universe.
to tie it in.
And I don't think Edgar Wright really wanted to. You know,
He wanted to use his own vision.
Yeah, he's been attached to the project for about 8 years.
Yeah.
He's been working on the screenplay himself. You know, he's been really enthusiastic about it. But then
He should now
must
go
be-
down
that
the
must be shit.
Sam Raimi route, because way back in the day, Sam Raimi wanted to do. I can't remember, he wanted to do a Spider-Man or whatever it was. A proper superhero film, and no one would let him do it, so he done Darkman. He done his own superhero. He come up with his own, and Darkman
he
was a
should
fucking
do that.
brilliant film.
Yeah, it is,
he should do that. Just do his own, come up with his own superhero character. And just fuck it, I'll do my own
obviously,
thing.
I'm a massive fan of Edgar Wright. You know, doing movies like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Yeah.
I was really excited to see him and to direct Paul Rudd as well, because I really like Paul Rudd as a character.
I always get confused with the whole creative differences, because he's only directing it. He didn't write it, so you've got the script.
Well, he's been writing it.
Oh, he's writing
He worked
it as well.
on the screenplay.
But then surely they've read the screenplay and gone, yeah, that's good. Get on with it.
Yeah,
so at
but
what point have they turned around and gone, oh, actually?
Well, I'm guessing now that they've been working on it since 2006, so I'm sure they've developed the characters and developed the script along, and then now that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is getting absolutely huge and they're going to continue it.
So had he actually started filming?
I'm not actually sure.
I presume this must be before filming has started.
Yeah.
Because why would they then turn around midway through filming and go, yeah, we've changed our mind about how you've written it?
I think they were probably going to get ready to, and then obviously you got to go through the final bits and bobs to make sure everything's right and correct and in order.
So is there any news yet on who will be directing?
I haven't come across any news. I found out about Edgar Wright's departure a couple of days ago.
He must be
A couple of people
pissed off,
have commented on it, but I don't think they've got anybody to stand in just
I've
yet.
heard it's M. Night Shyamalan. Not really. Not really.
What a twist!
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
It was all a dream, it's not Ant-Man. So yeah, I'm quite
Beetle
disappointed
Boy.
actually, because I thought it'd have been quite cool for Edgar Wright to step into the Marvel
Yeah,
Cinematic
I
Universe.
really would.
But nonetheless,
I think
Ant-Man
he
will
must
go
be
ahead.
pissed off though after spending all that
Oh,
amount
mate,
of time.
wouldn't he?
Well, since 2006, that's a long
crazy.
amount of time.
I think he should do his own suit. That's what he should do for another Cornetto film. Do
Yeah,
a
that would be,
superhero
that would
movie.
be,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
would be
That'd be-
really,
that'd be cool.
But
really,
he could do
really
Antish
cool.
Man,
And it's
Ant-like Man,
Grasshopper guy,
Beetle Man,
Beetle Man.
Grasshopper,
Locust lad.
Locust Lad.
Oh, I could do this all day. B-boy,
Fly Guy.
fly guy.
Nut.
Everyone's thinking
Woman.
about
That woman. That woman's got nuts.
that woman. She'll suck you dry.
I love it.
Oh my god.
Oh.
As everyone's thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah. It was that one of the things that,
What's
that
a shit insect?
ape puns and butt crack puns, and now it's
Middle-aged fire ant.
what is middle-aged
Person.
for?
It's like a teenage ninja, but middle-aged.
Middle-aged ninja.
Middle-aged karate fire ant man.
Right, you know some people are dicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know lots of them.
Have you
Chud. Just kidding, mate.
Now, obviously, Chud used the excuse of being pussy whipped
Yeah.
that he couldn't make it today. I've got a list of excuses from certain celebrities when they did dickish things. Do you want to hear about them?
Oh yeah.
We like that.
There's a news broadcaster called Marion Baratelli, and after
Is he Italian by any chance?
probably
It sounds Italian.
yeah, the BBC presenter went on air, and after oh no, sorry, it's the Marion Baratelli is the tennis player that this BBC presenter was talking about.
okay.
John Inverdale is the guy that said something stupid.
Right.
Basically, she won Wimbledon, and then he basically said, "Yeah, she's never really going to be a looker." It's like, can you guess what he blamed it on?
PMT.
His own PMT?
Yeah. Sorry, I was on the period.
It was, don't know, it's no friction on his trainers or something.
It's,
He's standing there doing a presenting.
I bet
going,
it's
"Yeah."
like family problems.
Well, apparently, he goes, I was feeling so ill, I had terrible hay fever, my mind was going all over the place.
What? Hay fever drives you mad.
Yeah, makes you talk about women in a subjective manner after they've just won a big tennis.
Sneezing makes me sexist.
I think we just found the title of the podcast there. Sneezing makes...
Get in the kitchen, love. Where's that fucking sandwich? Fucking hay fever.
Nice tits.
It's like Tourette's. Isn't it?
Hay fever Tourette.
Yeah.
Excuse me, madam. Sugar tits. Hay fever Tourette.
Oh my god.
We all know Charlie Sheen's a bit mental.
Do we?
I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Well, one time he...
Shit on someone?
No, he was taken into hospital and following an allergic reaction, apparently. But really what he was doing, he just had a night of sex and drugs. But he's like, yeah, allergic reaction. Apparently he probably had hay fever, such as this other guy. Charlie Sheen walked down the street. Whereas he wasn't exhaling on the sneeze, he was probably inhaling and then being subjective to women. Yeah. Come here.
I've had allergic reaction to this talcum powder.
Winning.
I tripped over and fell on a whore, and I got a rash.
Yeah, she had loads of coke all over, and I just happened to breathe in because everyone breathes, right?
When you fall,
Well, I was running really fast.
Inwards.
Yeah, that's it. I was running really fast.
Yeah, the speed of a tiger.
And I had to breathe in quickly. I was like,
I was out of breath.
Powdery substance went up my nose. It was just an allergic reaction.
because I had a gob full of vagina.
Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder!
Have you gone, Joe says vagina and you've gone Winona Ryder? I'm like, does this even rhyme? I'm not sure.
Here's my poem.
Where is this going?
To the moon and
There's
back.
another title for you then, Winona Ryder's vagina.
Beetlejuice actress Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder's
Winona Ryder! She's a little bit wider.
Why
Why am I
vagina.
Why am I French?
Her vagina is wider.
Yeah.
Winona Ryder.
She's like the TARDIS. Small as the outside, the roomy within.
That's why you said wider, because I said vagina. There
Why
we
being
go.
French?
No, why are we French? I don't know. Oh.
Yes.
Winona Ryder was arrested. It was publicised quite big.
Oh, no, this is
in 2001.
stealing,
She
stealing,
stole
yeah.
$3.5 grand's worth of designer clothes. Now, what was her excuse?
Oh, no, there's not a bit of pollen count, so...
She probably,
Hay fever.
she usually gets things for free, probably, I don't know.
Beetlejuice was following
I
her.
thought it was a free sample.
They just fell up my vagina.
I presume
She stuffed
did
them
she
up
steal-
her vagina.
Over the course of a few days, was it 3 grand's worth of stuff in one go?
It doesn't actually say, but...
Because the places I go to shop, that'd be a lot of fucking clothes. 3
yeah,
grand's
but
worth.
she's probably... Yeah, it's designer gear. You don't really wear
yeah.
designer gear, do
I've
you?
got some Skechers trainers.
It's gonna be some mental health or something, probably. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, apparently, she said it was just a misunderstanding and she was researching for an up-and-coming role.
Oh, that's a good excuse, yeah. That's very good.
God.
Why'd you steal all that clothes? Because I'm playing a character that steals clothes.
I mean, character now, isn't it? It's not real.
Yeah. I'm playing a character, Winona
What's your next film?
Ryder.
Alien Resurrection? Yeah, alright.
What are you playing that?
I was an android.
Space
What have you
person?
done what's good since Beetlejuice?
Stolen clothes and
Stolen
blamed
clothes.
on misunderstanding.
She stole clothes and was in an alien film. That's it.
Eddie Murphy, good old Eddie Murphy. He was arrested, or well, rather, he found him on the wrong side, or found himself on the wrong side of the law, after he was snapped with a transsexual prostitute in the passenger seat of his car in 1997. What was his excuse?
It was a hitchhiker. I was giving him or her a lift.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This is my sister.
This is my brother, sister.
This is Winona Murphy.
This is my sister, yeah, my pre-op. My pre-op brother's sister,
This is my
Cousins.
my brosis.
Jolene Murphy.
Well, you're on the right track, kind of.
Michelle Murphy.
Did you guys know my dad?
Well,
My dad, yeah, that was good. Oh, alright, Mr. Murphy.
apparently he was quoted saying, I was being a good Samaritan and he was taking her home.
Hey.
And it's not the first hooker he's helped out. Yeah, sure thing. He goes, I've seen hookers on corners and I pull over and I'll empty my wallet out to hell.
Yeah.
Well, he did
Isn't that what you do with hookers? You pick them up, you give them money, and then they do...
Problem is, my wallet is what he calls his cock.
I always wondered when he was doing them live, Eddie Murphy Raw on that live. Matt, I grabbed my wallet the other day. My wallet, she was on my wallet all night.
When I get my wallet out, it falls into 3 pieces. It's got 3 compartments.
I said, bitch, get on my wallet.
A couple of other good ones. Paris Hilton, we all know what of a
What?
stupid bitch that she is.
Yeah.
Apparently she had a load of cocaine in her bag and she was like, it was my friend's. You know, the classic old excuse.
It was sugar.
It's not even my bag.
My bag's
It's not even
baby.
my bag that I've touted on Twitter that I've got a new bag.
Yeah.
Which is really, really
It's not my gold-plated bag.
It says Paris Hilton on it.
Yeah.
You put in the little label.
In diamonds.
Your mum
What the
wrote...
fuck? My chihuahua smuggled cocaine into my bag.
Naughty Chihuahua.
Bad Sanchez.
Sanchez the
What else do you
Chihuahua.
call a chihuahua?
I don't know. Chewy.
Chewy.
Chihuahua. Wah. Call it wah. Chihuahua. Wah.
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua. Chihuahua. Wow.
I think we've lost it.
Right, yeah.
The final thing I'd like to talk about this evening, it's not movie related, but we could kind of tie it loosely into Futurama, because in Futurama there's a lot of heads that talk. Obviously they've been frozen in
Talking
cryogenesis, and apparently in the name of charity, one lucky person could be frozen and have the chance to be chilled to minus 196 Celsius after death, in hopes that you'll be brought back after...
I thought you were going to say while you're alive. That'd be shit. That would be shit.
I won!
Oh, yeah.
Frozen.
I thought you were going to do it after I died. No,
Wouldn't that
mate,
make
no,
more
sorry.
sense? Because then you've got to just hope they can just reheat you safely and freeze you
What, you're in a
safely.
like, massive oven or
Yeah,
something?
whereas if they
Microwave.
freeze you after death,
Microwave
even
was
if they
going
thaw you
around.
out safely, you're still dead.
Yeah, but the whole thing is they freeze you in hopes that they'll find a cure for death or whatever.
But surely we should be...
Come back like
Frozen just
demolition.
before you
Come back
died.
like demolition, man.
I don't want to be
Brilliant.
fucking Wesley Snipes.
No! Stallone!
I don't want to be Stallone.
So you can use the 3...
I've got to hang out with fucking, was it Rob Schneider?
Yeah, that's it.
With the 3 seashells.
Yeah.
I don't want to hang out with Rob Schneider.
Or Sandra Bullock.
No.
And you get to have
Probably
weird,
fucking... She looks like Skeletor.
weird mind sex with her.
That's it. Yeah.
She's too... Oh, I don't like her. She's all bony.
But I don't know. That's pretty crazy. I'm sure there's millionaires out there already done that. Haven't they?
Well, that's interesting you say that, Joe. 270 people are thought to have been frozen since cryogenic technology was developed 50 years ago.
Michael Jackson one.
And celebrities including Simon Cowell, Larry King and Paris Hilton have expressed interest. So they all want to
Larry King, because I'm...
American talk show host.
Talk show,
Because you've gone like Simon Cowell, Paris Hilton, like, oh great, bunch of frozen cunts in the future. Brilliant. Just what you want. Imagine all these people in the future, like, what's this? Oh, they sent us all these fucking assholes. Is there anyone in there that is a complete twat?
I'd just pull the plug out when you just so you just
I love
defrost.
it.
So just defrost. Fuck something else
Oh, the
defrosting
janitor-
in.
Just caught it with his mop, the janitors who's going around like, oh fuck.
Oh, it's gone off. What's that smell in the fridge?
But I don't think the technology's actually there yet. I think actually
Ever.
being frozen actually causes you like your
Well, we're
organs and
mostly
stuff.
water.
Yeah.
And I know something happens to water when it freezes, a kind of rapid
freezes?
expansion as well.
Freezes, yeah.
Yeah, but it expands as
Like
well.
ice cubes.
Yeah. They're going to freeze you, put you in a cube you, and then put you in little... You wake up in little trays.
or you're just in bits in the fridge, like chicken.
You always see like, on these TV shows or whatever, or movies, when they have like, these big fancy parties and have like a big swan made out of ice, and they've just got like Simon Cowell there, and you like break a toe off and put it in your drink, and just be like, oh, this is really, really good. This
That's
is
the
so
party
fun.
I want to go to.
I don't want to go to a party where there's a frozen Simon Cowell cock in me drink.
I'll have tested
Any
two
cocktail sausages are fucking horrible.
I'll have a Coke, please. Do you want ice with that? Yeah, I'll have those two there.
Those two.
Simon Cowell's bollocks in me drink.
Brilliant.
So would you go for it then?
Yeah, next week.
Imagine that though, if you were frozen in the future. Like, would that be just so trippy?
if you woke up and you're like, oh fuck,
Tell you what I might do.
I'm a bit cold.
I might chop my leg off and then freeze it.
freeze your leg.
And see what happens.
What's your leg do in the future?
I don't know, it might
Leg's not
solve.
gonna hop
it might
around going,
solve
Joe.
It may solve something in the future.
Wouldn't it be
Kick somebody.
easier to keep? Surely an airtight room would be better than a frozen, something hermetically sealed. Surely you could just have a bit of you and then have it cloned.
Mate,
Surely that would be more sensible than freezing.
Cloning's getting that way though, it really is, isn't it?
But whether it'd have someone's personality is a different matter
Well, yeah, that's
altogether,
the whole
but-
thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But a cloning thing is more realistic than being frozen
yeah,
and thawed out.
Yeah, but is a clone actually you? I've always wondered this. Like, when they clone things, it's not actually you, is it? It's a clone
DNA,
of you.
It's a copy, yeah.
So technically it wouldn't be you in the future, it would look like
It
you.
would look exactly like
but
you, but
it'd
it
probably
wouldn't
be
have
like a
your
dick version
personality.
of you.
Yeah, dick version of you. Well, yeah, but then you'd have like an evil twin.
Yeah,
And every superhero needs an evil twin.
Oh, it's me in the future. All right,
imagine
oh
this.
no, he's evil.
you could frame your future self for like murder and stuff like that.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, you
Same
could,
DNA.
Yeah, you could commit a big bank robbery,
that's made me-
hide the money, kill yourself, make sure somebody's going to clone you in the future, and they're like, we had this unsolved case for 50 years now. We've got a picture of him. Here he is. We got ya! It's not me. I'm cloned.
There was an issue with that. You've made me think about crime scenes and that. There was I think it was in Germany. They'd gone to arrest this woman who'd been prolific. They'd found her DNA at like say a dozen different crime scenes.
Now they always find semen. Did she leave semen?
I don't believe she did. They just found traces of her DNA at all these crime scenes. They'd gone and swabbed. Turns out she worked at the factory that made the swabs and had contaminated them.
Ah.
Yeah. Either that or she's really
right.
fucking clever murderer and had done that intentionally.
That must be shit.
But
Damn.
because I was saying to Amy about because when we had the first baby, she lost like 3 litres of blood. We've only got 3.5 in you, so I'm like, you've got most of someone else's blood in there. Is that someone else's DNA? Because that's the majority, but your blood does eventually take it over and it becomes your DNA.
Well, I've
But if
got
you have a
some-
bone marrow transplant,
Yeah.
you will get the DNA of what you had, the transplant. It won't be your DNA anymore,
That's
apparently. Yeah.
Crazy.
So I was like, what happens if someone, if you're an organ donor, well, they're, your kidney or whatever is your DNA, but then I guess that other person's body will then take it over to be.
Well, I don't know how true
don't know
this
how that
is.
works.
You sometimes hear of stories like of people that have had new organs and then it turns out they like things that they didn't like before the transplant.
Yeah.
But I don't know kind of how real that is, whether it's people in their mind, whether it's like a placebo effect, whether it's like, oh right, I'm gonna donate my liver and then I'll put a little note in just saying, oh, I really like pizza, and then you give it to somebody. If you put like a vegetarian gets you liver and just start, I really love meat feast pizza.
I'd put myself in for that experiment because I am an organ donor, so I'd be quite happy if someone do a little, just quietly like see if anything happens to people. Some guy suddenly goes, I love shit films.
I'm really pissed off about
I hate
it.
these fucking comedies. God, I hate sitcoms.
Or it'd be really weird if like somebody had like a last wish. They're a bit like, right, this organ transplant might not work. So my last dying thing is if I do die, then I'll die happy. I want to go watch Godzilla, and they're like, oh, they're really disappointed by that. And then they get one of our organs, and they wake up and they're like, the operation was a success. And like, Godzilla was awesome last night, wasn't it? But like, hang on.
One minute. Hey.
I hope that does happen because I think that part of me is taking over that person.
Yeah.
That's my goal with being an organ donor. So somewhere along the line, I'll get control of someone else, and I'll be me again.
But just look like a really hot blonde woman. With boobs.
I can live with that. I spent a good couple of weeks on my own in front of a mirror, but other than that, I'll be okay.
With your dick between your legs.
He's a hot blonde woman.
Oh, I meant as yourself. Sorry.
Why would he stand in front of the mirrors himself? No offence. Does that anyway?
I don't know. I'm lost. Sorry. I'm lost now.
You're just still thinking of James Franco ape puns, aren't you?
I might know why you're thinking of a hot blonde woman with a dick.
Yeah, that's a bit.
What kind of places do you go to, Joe?
There's a bit shocking, isn't it?
You've been at the new Taiwanese club.
I've been with Eddie Murphy. Right, God. Set the bag.
That's a good excuse now, yeah. You were caught with a transsexual. Oh, Eddie Murphy just dropped her off around mine.
What's all that drugs? I was just visited by Paris Hilton and Charlie Sheen. They both had an allergic reaction to it, apparently. They gave it to me to try out. What have you got it then? Friend give me it.
Some bloke coming here called me mum a slag. He had hay fever or something. And... oh dear.
I think that would be the perfect place to end this podcast, being volume 11. So thanks a lot for listening. If you do want to get involved in our little experiment we're running, if you listen to the podcast and want to do a little trade with us here on ChapterSkip, trade another bad movie for Skinned Deep, do leave a comment down below or private message us or check us out on Facebook or Twitter. All the links are in the description, and yeah, we'll leave it there. And on behalf of ChapterSkip, I'm Sean.
I'm Joe.
No, and I've got a dog in my lap. Get off. And I'm still
And I've got a dog in my lap.
And that's not a euphemism.
It's my hay fever making me a bit horrible towards this
I've
woman.
got a dog on my wallet. We'll catch you guys again next time.
Thank you.
Bye.